Welcome to Business World. I'm your host Siddharth, and on today's edition of BWHotWires, we have Mr. Parag Satpute, Managing Director, Bridgestone India, with us. Welcome to the show, sir.
It's a pleasure to be here and looking forward to a good discussion.
Thank you, sir. Okay, so let me start with the mother of all questions, the mother of all concerns. It's about COVID. So what impact did COVID have on your company and your industry, and how have you been able to navigate through it? Has it been seamless enough that you now, or there are many more challenges that you need to tackle?
So every discussion I have today, whether it is with industry people like yourself, with customers, with employees, has to start or has to have COVID as a main theme. That is the scale of the crisis that we are facing. And it's not just us, it's the whole world. So obviously we were impacted in a significant way. We went into lockdown even a couple of days before the official lockdown was announced, because at Bridgestone we value the safety of our teammates very much. So already we had realized that the cases are rising, so we had asked people to start working from home. And then of course, through April and May, there was very, very limited activity. Our plants were closed. Most of our dealer outlets were closed. A large part of our business comes from auto OEMs. They were not operating. So this was unprecedented times. No one could have imagined that you have a few weeks with very, very low revenues. But at this time, I think we realized that the most important thing is to keep our teammates safe and to keep them engaged and motivated. So actually, we made good use of that time. We managed to get our people develop new skills. We managed to create a strong engagement within teams. And that is starting to pay off now. Because then from the mid of May and in June mainly, a situation has started coming back to how it used to be, meaning economic activity is starting, the demand is starting to pick up. And I'm really happy to see how our engine has restarted and how all of our teammates have come out charging. So June has been a good month because everyone is excited, very glad to be back and very glad to be in connect with our customers again. But obviously the crisis is not over. We expect that the next few weeks or even months we'll have to be very, very vigilant, because by no means has the number of cases reduced. So we have to adhere to all the safety norms, at the same time ensure that the economic activity is picking up. So interesting times we are living through.
It's a known fact that you're present in the passenger vehicle segment. But if you can dissect that a little bit, like what's the USP and which segments within the PV segment you cater to, and going forward, do we see Bridgestone finding its ways to commercial vehicles also, if it's not catering to that segment right now or not? If you can, tell us about that.
We came into India 20 years ago, more than 20 years ago, with the passenger car tires, and that remains our largest business. But in 2013-14, we also started the truck bus radial tires, and that business has also developed very well for us, and we have a sizable presence there. On top of that, we are selling off-the-road tires for mining, for construction. We don't manufacture those locally; those are imported from our global production units. But if you still see, our largest business is the passenger car tires, and here we are present across the range, because we are catering to all the OEMs, right from the small cars right up to the high-end SUVs as well as the premium cars. And we will continue to focus on that, because Bridgestone is the world's largest tire manufacturer, and we did not get there by just being in narrow niches. We are present in all segments of the passenger car. Where is our focus? I would say our focus is on two areas. One is on high performance. The technology that we have allows us to bring tires which give you high performance. And high performance in this context means good safety and long life. And then the second big area that we are working very, very diligently on is fuel efficiency, because sustainability is a core part of our business philosophy. So for many years now, Bridgestone globally and in India has been focusing on how we can contribute to the environment by making our products more fuel efficient. So the high performance and the fuel efficiency are the two areas in our core products that we focus on more than others.
Sir, for the past 2 years, since last year, the auto industry has been struggling, and then we had this pandemic. What is your take on the whole auto industry and tires being a critical part of it?
Yeah. So, auto industry is a very interesting space, I would say. It's often at the forefront of new technologies, and as a consequence of that, disruptions. So, as you rightly pointed out, in the last 3-4 years, the whole case phenomenon, as we call it, connected, automotive, shared, and electric, on all those four angles, the auto industry is being developing very, very fast. In India, we are still, I would say, a small market or a young market for auto industry. The penetration of automotive per thousand people is one of the lowest in the world. And that was rightly so because it was not very affordable. But with the general standard of living in India improving, we believe that the midterm to long-term growth prospects of the auto industry are very, very good. And that is why Bridgestone considers India as one of the top focus markets in the world. And that's why we came in here early and we continue to invest in the country. So, yes, COVID has created some short-term road bumps, I would say. But we continue to believe that the growth prospects in a country like India are very much intact. And we are here for the long run.
So, sir, the government recently came out with AtmaNirbhar policy,
Yeah.
which is a self-reliant, which is giving a further fillip to Make in India. So, what are the takeaways of AtmaNirbhar policy and how you want to leverage it? And I'm sure you're already building in India. If you can talk about that.
So you're right. For any country, and especially a country in a development phase like India, I think manufacturing plays a key role. So manufacturing is a core industry. It creates jobs, creates technical jobs. So I think 4-5 years ago when the Make in India campaign was launched, I think it was a great idea and a good focus. I see AtmaNirbhar as a continuation of that focus. I do not see it as let us cut ourselves off from the world or anything like that. We need to be self-reliant, which means we need to create local manufacturing industry and we need to be able to support our own needs. So as a policy, we are fully supporting that. And in a way, that has been Bridgestone's policy as well. We call it local for local. So whenever we consider a country important, then we invest in local manufacturing there. And that was the case with India. In 1998, we started our first manufacturing in Indore. We started the second one in Chakan. And so over these years, we have invested close to 4,000 crores in India. The most recent investment initiative that we are driving currently as we speak was announced in 2017, where we are investing 2,000 crores in both our plants. And this last piece of investment is mainly focused on the passenger car tires. And realizing the long-term growth potential of India, we are investing in capacity as well as technology to double our manufacturing of passenger car radial tires. So that's on the manufacturing. And through this, of course, we are glad to create employment. Currently, we are employing more than 3,000 people directly in our plant. But if you consider all our vendors, if you consider the 5,000 dealers that we have, then it is much, much more. The 3,000 I talk of is directly employed by Bridgestone. So as we grow, we will continue to provide employment and support the society around us. And by the way, this is also a very key part of the business philosophy of Bridgestone. The founder of Bridgestone had said that a business cannot exist purely to make profits. So they have to contribute to the society in which they operate. And for us, it's not like CSR. This is a core part of our business. And therefore, it makes sense for us to continue to invest in it. As comes to R&D, Bridgestone is a high technology company. Globally, we are investing close to 3% of our total turnover into R&D. And we do that in different ways. We have what we call the technical centers, global technical centers across the world. We have the mother one in Japan. We have one in Thailand, which has been supporting in India. And now we have a big technical center in Europe, which serves the European market. it also starts to support India. But the technical centers are located in this place to create the scale and to allow us to invest in technology. But understanding of the local market is very important. So we have a very strong product development team which sits in India, whose main job is to interact with customers, to understand their needs as they're evolving, to understand the local conditions, because the road conditions in India versus Europe versus Japan can be very different. So their job is to understand it and working together with the technical centers, develop products which are suited for the Indian condition. And I think that has been the recipe for success for Bridgestone in India, because today we are one of the leading companies for passenger car tires in India.
So can you just talk about the capex, the existing capacity per annum, and are you going to ramp it up further? And will they be catering to global, local, apart from global markets?
So we started this ramp up already in 2018. Like I mentioned, the capex announcement was made late 2017, and we started investing. And we are investing it in phases depending upon how the market is developed. So we will continue that journey. Primarily, it is meant for the Indian market because we believe that there is a lot of growth potential in India. But obviously, being a global company, if we see opportunities, we will leverage the Indian manufacturing footprint to export as well. But as of now, we are mainly focused on the Indian market.
Capacity, sir, if you can talk about that. Capacity.
We are building up towards 40,000 tires per day.
Per day, or combined capacity?
Yes, combined capacity.
Okay,
we are building up towards that.
Sir, while we are on the topic of Make in India, the government has recently banned the import of tires. So what are your thoughts on this? Is this step going to help the industry, or is it like detrimental to the future of the industry?
So the government has not banned import. They have placed it under the restricted category. What it means is that you need to get a license to import the tire. It's not freely imported. It is imported under a license. It does create extra bureaucracy to have tires under the restricted category. But I understand where the government is coming from. There was a lot of grey market tires coming into the country. And I think it makes sense to restrict that or to stop those tires coming in, because tires are a very important component for the safety. You know, cars today are driving at 100, 120 kilometers. Our roads are becoming better. And the only part of the car which is touching the road is the tire. So if you don't have the right quality at the right standard, then it is very, very dangerous. And when tires are imported through the grey market, there is no guarantee they will meet the Indian standards. So to that extent, I think it will be good. For reputed multinational companies like ourselves, it will not make a big difference because we, of course, always were importing legally. So we will continue with that. We will need to get some licenses. And any which way, only a very small percentage of the tires that we sell in India are imported. From an overall market perspective, I think it will help to streamline the market. So it's a positive move.
As a follow-up to that question, there's a lot of backlash against Chinese products. So other products from other countries, like from Japan, Bridgestone is a Japanese company. So do you get the upper hand because of that? Because Japan has always been a good friend of India, and Modi is a good friend of Shinzo Abe. I'm sure you would be following it more than me. So keeping those trends in mind, do you stand to gain?
So we stand to gain because we have a great product at an appropriate price, which the customers like. I think that is where we need to focus, and that is where we continue to focus. And if you build a good product, it doesn't matter then if you're coming from a country which is currently friendly to India or not. I think the product will speak for itself. And then, of course, as a company, many people do not even realize that we are a Japanese company because, one, we are a multinational company. But for India, we are an Indian company. We have been here 20 years. Most of our sourcing is from India. All our employees are Indians. 95% of the tires we sell in India are made in India. So for us, we are an Indian company for all purposes.
Okay, so now that we were talking about safety, so you correctly said people are more aware now about safety. We have G NCAP ratings coming in for Indian vehicles. So do you see a trend where customers are actually going out and looking for safer tires, or the set Indian mentality of longevity of a tire is still prevalent?
So definitely the Indian consumer is becoming much more educated. And when I say educated, it's in around tire and auto. Also, the information now is easily available. With the internet and all the digital platforms, it's much easier to research a tire, the performance of a tire, the properties of a tire, than it used to be 10 years ago. So definitely we see there's a lot more engagement from consumers in that way. What are they looking for? There are different categories. There are people who value performance. The auto enthusiasts, they're looking for handling, they're looking for good braking. But there are also the large part. I mean, like even before I joined the tire industry, for me, the tire was just something which is a part of the car. So there's a big group of people like that. For them, it is long life, and that the tire, the safety aspect is there for most people because everyone realizes that. So I think it's continuing in that way, but information being more available, we get people who are much more informed and are therefore able to make the right choice, which plays to our strengths, I would say, because we are a company who are investing so much in developing this technology. So we are glad that people are taking interest and are gravitating towards this. What is still slow is this fuel efficiency, I had said. People don't realize how big an impact tires can have on fuel efficiency. When they go to buy a car, they talk about kitna mile deti hai. But when buying tires, they don't talk about it. But a tire can have between 7 to 10% impact on fuel efficiency. And over a lifetime, that is a lot of money saved and a lot of impact on the environment saved. So if something that we want to educate the Indian consumers on, it's on fuel efficiency, which is much more prevalent in the more developed markets.
And sir, one question about digital sales. Do you, in this current period of lockdown, 3 months, people were not able to go out, and even today, social distancing is the new normal. People don't want to go out. So have you seen any traction coming from the digital sales channels? If yes, do you see more activity on the digital front from Bridgestone in the future?
Yeah, we surely see this as a great opportunity. Again, I like to leverage on the global experience we have. In Europe, this is much more developed. So the whole digital platform, and I'm not talking about selling tires, but getting the best performance out of your tires through digital means is much more developed in Europe. And we being a part of that, we can leverage it. What we see in India is there's a lot more search for tire and tire services on internet. But still there is not that much buying because at the end of the day, fitting a tire is a professional's job. This is not something you can do at home. So what we are trying to do is to connect these searches that we see on the internet to our physical stores. We have 500 Bridgestone Select stores, which are like our family stores, and we have another 2,000 multi-brand stores across the country. So we are trying to connect people who are searching for tires online to our physical stores. And as a response to COVID, because we realized that safety and contact or reducing contact has become a major concern, we have recently launched an online platform which is called Book My Service. So any consumer can online search for a tire, book a service at a dealer close to them, and then go there at that specified time. So they minimize the time they spend at a dealer outlet. And the car will be serviced at that time, the tire will be changed, sanitized, and it will be a very efficient process. So that is the first step we are taking. And we are looking at other ways how we can reduce the physical touch points that a consumer has when he goes to buy tires.
Indian auto industry, Indian cars, the cars that are available in India, we are continuously seeing high-end cars, luxury cars, and even OEMs upping their levels of products available. So now we have Kia Seltos, we have higher-end vehicles from Hyundai and other brands. So do you see customers also buying higher-end tires with, say, good NVH capabilities, good grip, high-speed stability? Because we have certain products which can actually use these tires. Do you see this trend happening?
Yeah. For sure, there is a upgradation happening in the automotive space. A big trend we see across the world and which is relevant in India is this utility vehicles. The CUVs, SUVs are growing the fastest, more than any other category. The thing with that is that they have higher road clearance, they have higher inch tires. So that is great because to produce higher inch tires, it is a more expensive technology, high-end technology. So that is happening in general consumer. The other thing you should know is that the automotive companies' spec on the tires is very, very stringent. And to supply to them, you have to meet those specs. And that takes care of all of the things. It takes care of fuel efficiency, it takes care of the braking distance, wet grip, handling. Not yet so much the noise, but I think that will come with the electric vehicles. At the moment, that is not the major focus. Major focus is the other things I told you about. So yeah, for sure, there is a definite move towards higher end technology in tires as well, along with the automotive.
So now technology is moving at a very fast pace. We see new technologies in our phones and computers on a daily basis. So what is the new technologies coming into tires? And what is Bridgestone bringing to India?
So a lot of new technologies coming in tires and in all parts. So tire materials, which is the natural rubber as well as the synthetic rubber and all the chemicals that go into it. There is a lot of work going on in that. One, to make sure it is sustainable, because we as a company believe that we should have a positive impact on the environment. So there's a lot of work going on there, and we are continuously introducing that into the Indian market. There's a lot of work on around the tire, meaning today digital technology is so prevalent. So there are so many sensors in all places. There are sensors in the cars. There's a possibility to put sensors in the tires themselves. And the whole focus there is to get the maximum performance out of a tire. So let me move slightly away and give you an example of the truck tires. We have talked a lot about the car tires. Truck tires are lend themselves much more to this digital technology. So managing the tire, you can improve the life significantly, as well as you can reduce the consumption of fuel significantly by managing the pressure of the tire, by managing the wear of the tire, by making sure it is aligned. So with putting sensors in the wheels and putting sensors in the tires, you can remotely realize when it is time to make these changes. You can remotely realize if the tire pressure is not right, if the temperature is rising too much, and immediately make those interventions. So we are bringing in those technologies, the digital sensors already. They're already existing in our business in Europe. We're bringing them to India. And the ultimate aim, what we are doing in India, is to take over the management of the tires for the fleet. So rather than sell tires to them, we are selling tire as a service. So we take on their trucks, we equip them with tires, and they will pay us as per the number of kilometers that they are driving. And then it becomes our responsibility to ensure they get the maximum life out of the tire. And when the tire wears out, we will also replace it. So that is the way the commercial industry is going. Maybe in the future, it will be possible to bring such business models, such thoughts to the passenger car industry as well.
As a tire manufacturer, which has been in India for past 20 years, do you have any motorsports initiatives? Are you trying to push motorsports in India? Because motorsports is, I think, on the last bench in the whole sports activity.
So, if you look in history, long time ago, and Bridgestone globally, we used to be one of the big sponsors of Formula One. Actually, that is the first time I heard the name Bridgestone in my life when I was a kid, following Formula One. But a few years ago, Bridgestone globally took an approach to associate with the Olympics. So today, our main association sponsorships is with the Olympics. We are one of the only 13 top Olympic sponsors. And it's a long-term arrangement. And there was a lot of thinking which went behind this. I think the main thing was we found that the values of the Olympics and the values of the company have a very good fit. And we also felt Olympic is a much, much wider platform. So many more people in the world interact with the Olympics or follow the Olympics. So through that, we could reach a much, much wider cross-section of society. So we decided to move our focus towards Olympics. In India as well, our focus is on Olympics. I know Olympic sports are not very big in India, but that we believe is a niche that we want to be in. So we have a concept called Team Bridgestone, where we have signed up some of the top Olympic athletes like PV Sindhu, Srikanth, Sakshi Malik. And through them, we are trying to inspire sports people and common people in India to chase their dream. Our motto for the Olympics is Chase Your Dream. And we will continue to do that. And given that we want to focus all our efforts, resources there, then I think motorsports has not been a priority. And for the coming years, that will remain.
Also, what is the way ahead? Like, what are your long-term strategies and What's your long-term vision for the company?
So we have a very strong belief that India is one of the top growth markets for us across the world. The GDP is growing, the affluence of the people is growing, the affordability is growing. Digital is really helping India leapfrog many of the countries. So we see this as as a country where we want to invest and not just be present, but take a leadership position. Because that is Bridgestone's vision. We call it Dan Totsu. Dan Totsu means undisputed leadership. So we want to be in India and take a Totsu position. We are very close in the passenger car segment. We are working very hard to achieve that in the truck and bus. And then as and when situation allows, we will move into the new solutions or products that we have talked about. So 20 years is just a beginning for us in India. We look forward to being here for a long, long time.